We now get to the term padding. Padding is the distance between the edges or borders of an HTML element and the content within it. So the padding in this case would be between the content and the border. Contrast that with the margins, which is the distance between the border and the outside of that element. So the padding is the inside padding of the element. The margin is the space outside of the border. Padding can be applied to any element. Both length and percentage values are available for padding, although there is no auto value, and negative values cannot be declared for padding. Let's go ahead and look at container 1 here, my div element. If we go to the box category, here we have our padding setting. Notice that my top padding is 20, my right is 1, and my left is 5. So that means that this distance here is 20 pixels from the top of this content to the border. The right padding is only 1, so if I go in here and add some more content, you'll notice that this content is going to be a little bit closer to the right edge than the left border edge, and the reason for that is that if we go here and look at our padding, my left is 5 pixels and my right is only 1. Let's go ahead and increase the left to 15 pixels. Click Apply, and notice that my content moves over, scoots over to the right, giving me more padding between the content and the left border. As I mentioned, you can also apply percentages. Let's apply a 15, actually that was a 15% that I applied to the left. Let's go ahead and apply 15 pixels. And now we'll begin to see that indeed the left edge has more padding than the right edge. But we can also use percentages. Let's go with percentages here instead of pixels. Percentage in this case refers directly to the parent element's width. So if the padding left is 20%, as I've declared here, that equates to 20% of the parent element's given width. In this case, it's 400 pixels. The parent element being this div container 1. Like I did for margins, if we experiment with different settings here, let's change this to 200 pixels for the width, set my left padding for 20%, click Apply, and notice that the padding there in the case of the left edge is 20% of the total width of that box. Let's change the width to 400 and we should see this padding increase. The width increased, but also the amount of padding over there to the left increased. Let's go back and modify my width to 600, and in this case the padding will get even greater in that case. You can also experiment with values going in the other direction. Let's turn down my percentages to only 1% on my left padding, click Apply, and now notice again it moves over. It's 1% of the width of the parent element, and now let's set this to pixels 0, and notice that now it sits right on the margin, the left margin there, since I have a 0 padding set to 0 pixels.